Good morning. It's Wednesday, February 16th. We're bringing you the latest news making headlines to help you start your day.
A crime alert this morning. Police found the body of a teenage girl in East Point they're having trouble identifying.
Tori Cooper has the latest details from police in today's Morning News Rewind.
Good morning, Robin Gravier. I'm here along the East Point area outside of the fire station on Ben Hill Road. This is where investigators say they were called out here on Saturday after receiving reports of a person down. Now, when they got out here, they say they found that body of a 14-year-old girl lying next to a vacant home. Now, I want everyone to come look at this video. We've been showing you this throughout the morning. This is the area where they say they found the teenage girl lying on the west side of one of the vacant homes. Let me tell you, out here it does appear that there are several vacant homes, but when investigators went up to the teenage girl, they say they discovered she was unconscious. That's when they called in the GBI. Autopsy later showed that she died from blunt force trauma to the head. Now, that's what's mysterious about this. You have a teenage girl out here alone, and she dies by herself with blunt force trauma to the head. Now, they say they don't know what led up to those injuries, but they did share with us this sketch that you can look at right now. Take a look. This is what they believe that the teenage girl looked like. If you pay close attention, you can see that she has freckles, brown eyes, and what appears to be obviously some curly hair. They are hoping that anyone in the neighborhood or the community may have recognized her or may have seen her and can provide some information to investigators. Now, I did reach out to police to see if they are considering any missing persons cases as part of this death investigation. They have not gotten back to us, but as the sun comes up, we're going to do some door knocking and see what we can find. Reporting live in East Point, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Tori, good information there. Thank you. Now to a developing story out of Brunswick. We expect more testimony today in the federal hate crimes case against the men already convicted in state court for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. CBS 46's Rebecca Schramm joins us live this morning. Rebecca, some of the neighbors of the defendants were actually the first witnesses in this trial.
They were, Rob. One of the neighbors testified that he saw Ahmaud Arbery one night near a home under construction. So he armed himself. He went outside with a pistol in his pocket. Matt Albenzi told jurors that even though Arbery looked suspicious, he never took the gun out of his pocket and he did not chase Arbery. When asked why, he said, "Not my job." Another neighbor, Daniel Alcott, testified that it was his front yard that became a crime scene. He has since moved his family out of the Satilla Shores neighborhood. He happens to be a runner, and when prosecutors asked if the defendants had ever chased him through the neighborhood, he answered no. Jurors also heard from the lead investigator in the case, Richard Dial with the GBI. He outlined each interview he did with the defendants, Greg and Michael and Travis McMichael and William Roddy Bryan. He also went over the video footage that captured images of the chase and the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. An attorney for the Arbery family listened in yesterday. Here's her take on the first full day of testimony.
Glad that people are able to hear what really was in their minds, that these weren't just, quote, driveway decisions, that they were actually laying in wait for this young man.
And testimony will continue this morning. By the way, earlier this month, state lawmakers adopted a resolution naming February 23rd Ahmaud Arbery Day here in Georgia. Next week marks 2 years since Arbery's killing. Live in Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
Rebecca, thank you. We have a warning this morning about scammers impersonating Atlanta police to steal your money. Investigators say someone has been spoofing police phone numbers to make threatening telephone calls. The caller claims the victim has an outstanding warrant and can pay money to avoid being arrested. Atlanta police say if you get one of these calls from somebody claiming to represent a government agency, hang up and then call the number on your account statement.
New this morning, starting this fall, Georgia football fans can buy a customized jersey of their favorite players, and the players will actually earn a cut from the sales. UGA announced an agreement with Fanatics and One Team that will allow players to be compensated for each time a fan buys their jersey. Georgia joins a handful of other schools providing this option, including a pair of SEC schools, of course, rival Florida and LSU. Caught on camera, two teens throwing punches at a New Jersey mall, but it's not the fight that's making headlines. The police response has sparked an investigation, and as you can see in this video, one teen is actually pushed onto a couch where he's allowed to sit, while the other, a black teen, is held to the ground and cuffed. The video has led to an internal investigation. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has even weighed in, saying he's deeply disturbed by what appears to be racially disparate treatment.
Developing right now, Kennesaw police are trying to track down an Uber driver accused of firing a gun during a road rage incident.
This all started in Cobb County at a neighborhood stop sign. Trayson Bragg shows us what happened and what Uber is doing about it. Trayson?
Well, I'll tell you, we're here at the Kennesaw Police Station. It's been a busy morning for them all morning. And as you said, this all started because of an argument or a dispute over whether or not an Uber driver rolled through a stop sign. Now, this all took place on Ridgecrest Drive here in Stonecrest. And that dispute, as I said, started as that Uber driver was getting ready to drop off his rider right next to that stop sign. Now, that rider says that the driver did not roll through that stop sign. In fact, they say that he just wanted to make sure she was safe. But that is the opposite of what another driver says, who says that that Uber driver, who was later caught on camera in this gray Jeep Compass, is later identified as Kenneth Antonio Nichols, actually rolled through that stop sign. And in fact, he says when that argument started, Nichols actually threatened him with a gun, saying, quote, he had something for him. That's when that driver says he eventually drove away, but Nichols followed him and eventually fired off at least one shot.
It's scary because you can't see the bullet. You just hear that shot and it's a millisecond and it hits somewhere.
Now, that driver asked us not to share his name because of fear of retaliation. And listen to this, Uber says that they sent out a reminder to folks and drivers letting them know that they are not allowed to carry guns while on the job. They also say they suspended that Uber driver, Nichols, during this investigation. We'll continue to follow this and let you know the very latest details as soon as they are available. Reporting live in Kennesaw, I'm Trayson Bragg, CBS 46 News.
Thank you, Trayson. If you're planning on visiting Disney World, you need to listen to this. If you are fully vaccinated, you can take your mask off indoors. The option for visitors to go maskless starts tomorrow. All guests ages 2 and up have to wear those masks, though, when you're in an enclosed transportation vehicle. Unvaccinated guests still have to wear masks everywhere. New this morning, Bob Saget's family is pushing to block the release of records connected to the investigation into his sudden death.
Our Brooks Baptiste has more on this story this morning, plus the other stories topping your social media feeds. Brooks?
Good morning to you guys. Bob Saget's widow and 3 daughters actually filed a lawsuit Tuesday declaring certain records from his death investigation remain exempt from public disclosure. Those records would include photos, videos, audio recordings, and autopsy information created during the investigation. And that lawsuit says that if that info were to be released, the family would suffer extreme mental pain and emotional distress. Saget died last month in his hotel room, and medical examiners have concluded that he died from accidental head trauma. Well, guys, it's been 2 long years, I should say, and Coachella is making its big return in April. But some folks are raising their eyebrows about this because organizers have dropped all COVID safety precautions. The music festival in Southern California usually draws in more than 100,000 people a day. Right now, there won't be any mask or vaccine requirements. Organizers say the COVID policies could change depending on local rules. Billie Eilish, Harry Styles, and Kanye West are the headliners for the event. It's been the biggest movie of the pandemic era, and now it's become the 3rd highest grossing film of all time. I'm talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. New data showing that ticket sales have reached $761 million, pushing it past Avatar for 3rd place. But No Way Home is still well behind Avengers Endgame at $858 million, which parts of that movie were filmed right here in Atlanta. The all-time champ remains Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And guys, yes, everybody was trying to get back to the movie theaters when this came out, so that probably did play a slight role in that. But it was just a good movie anyway, so.
Agreed. I do agree with that. I'm surprised to see Avatar on that list too, though. It's been a long time since that movie came
Right.
out.
All
It's
right,
interesting
Brooks.
stuff.
Thank you, Brooks. All right, let's get over to Rodney. We're following a breaking traffic alert, which is going to impact many of you.
Yeah, Kavir, Rob, we are still on the south side of town. This is 285 bound past I-75 in Clayton County. This was a crash plus a fire. Fortunately, the fire is out, but all lanes are still blocked. So this is what you're going to want to do here. There's not a great alternate route, but if you typically take 285 passing Atlanta Airport, the first thing you'll want to do is get onto I-75 southbound and then take Forest Parkway eastbound. That's really your alternate route this morning. From there, you can do a couple of things. You can either take Highway 54 north. That'll take you back to 285, but that's a smaller street, so you may be better off continuing on Forest Parkway eastbound to 675 northbound, and that'll get you by faster. The idea is to take Forest Parkway to get you back to 285 because those lanes are blocked, and GDOT says at the moment that it's not expected to clear until about 8 o'clock this morning, so that will impact your commute on the south side of town. We'll keep you up to date on that, and we will have more traffic to come.
We're keeping an eye on today with the stories you need to know.
Supporters of the Buckhead Cityhood movement are set to speak out today days after Republicans in the General Assembly dealt a big blow to their cause. So the so-called Buckhead City Committee is holding a news conference to discuss what's next for them. They say they've got a new strategic plan. This comes after House Speaker David Ralston refused to take up legislation that would have paved the way for the issue to be put before voters.
Crime is one of the top reasons that some want to make Buckhead an independent city. Today, Atlanta's police chief Rodney Bryant is set to host a crime strategy meeting. He'll talk about street racing, violent crimes, and also water sales on our streets.
Supporters of East Cobb's Cityhood movement are waiting to see if Governor Kemp will sign a bill allowing voters there to decide if they should form their own city. Boundaries for the proposed city of nearly 60,000 residents would be Shallowford Road to the north and the Chattahoochee River to the south. The Cobb County line would make up the east side.
We have new details this morning on a Cobb County task force dedicated to slowing down drivers in school zones. We got this video from the FAST unit last week. Officers handed out citations to speeding drivers near Smith Middle School on Powder Springs Road. One driver going 56 miles per hour in a 25 mile per zone.
The Atlanta Braves are the first major league team to join the metaverse. The team launched the digital Truist Park yesterday. The online world will be a digital twin of Truist Park and the Battery, giving fans the chance to explore it without leaving home. Fans will be able to customize avatars, explore areas, even play games and win prizes. The team will host an exclusive first look in April.
It's 16 minutes after 6, and right now intense, impassioned debates in Forsyth County over books found in school libraries. A group of concerned parents showed up at the school board meeting last night calling for an immediate audit. These parents want to remove hundreds of books they say contain inappropriate, sexually explicit content. But others say parents need to look at the context of how the content is presented.
I think we just need to put more effort and way more time into going into the research and the detail and what's the intention behind the context of this.
We are not about banning books. We are about banning pornography.
At issue are books like Call Me By Your Name and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Supporters say these books may be explicit, but they also help students understand the LGBTQ community and other minorities. Developing right now, Kennesaw police are trying to track down an Uber driver accused of firing a gun during a road rage incident.
It's all started in Cobb County at a neighborhood stop sign. Trayson Bragg's here to show us what happened and what Uber is doing about it. Trayson?
Well, that's right, Rob. I mean, it's kind of a crazy situation. It all started actually on Ridgecrest Drive here in Kennesaw. And as you said, this all started with an argument over a stop sign, believe it or not, when an Uber driver actually had a rider in his vehicle. Now, he had just dropped off that rider to her home when that argument began over whether or not he rolled through the stop sign. Now, the other driver says that Uber driver, later identified as Kenneth Antonio Nichols, who was seen in this silver Jeep Compass on a neighbor's surveillance camera, says that he rolled through the sign. Now, another witness says that was not exactly true, but that either way, that led to a very heated argument between the two drivers. Moments later, That driver, who spoke to CBS 46, says Nichols threatened him, saying he, quote, had something for him. That's when he said he drove away, and Nichols followed him and fired a shot a couple of blocks later.
When he was speaking with the detective on the phone, he said that he did fire the round into the ground so that the other driver knew that he had a gun.
Now, you mentioned Uber and what they have to say about all this. I'll tell you that in the next half hour, you'll actually hear from that driver as well, who spoke to CBS 46, who says he was fired at. That's something else you don't want to miss as well. Again, that's in the next half hour. Reporting live in Kennesaw, I'm Trayson Bragg, CBS 46 News.
All right, Trayson, we'll look for that. Thanks so much. Developing right now, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he doesn't want a war in Ukraine and is willing to negotiate an end to the crisis. Russian officials say they've even started withdrawing troops from the area. But U.S. officials say they can't verify that claim. President Biden says more than 150,000 Russian troops still surround Ukraine. The president says the U.S. will continue looking for a peaceful end to the crisis. Meanwhile, Putin says he wants NATO to stop expanding into Eastern Europe. He says that poses a threat to Russia's national security.
An emotional Kamila Valieva completing her short program after a controversial decision allowing her to compete. Despite falling, during her triple axel, the Russian figure skater leads the singles competition so far. Meanwhile, newly released documents show labs found 3 drugs in her system before the Olympics. All 3 are said to help the heart by increasing endurance and reducing fatigue. Only one of them is banned. And new overnight at the Winter Games, the U.S. men's hockey team stunned, blowing a late lead and falling to Slovakia. Top-seeded team USA knocked out after a 3-2 shootout. This is the 3rd straight Olympics that the U.S. men's hockey team will leave without a medal. The last Winter Games medal they won was in 2010 in Vancouver. They have not won gold since the Miracle on Ice in 1980.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.